So, Dolphin fans, we find ourselves in this position once again. Now, it's quite possible that how you view this game is dependent upon just how far back your fandom and heartbreaks go. Are you old enough to remember the Sea of Hands, John Riggins in Super Bowl 17, losing to the Patriots in the final game at the Orange Bowl in the AFC Championship game, robbing us from a chance of playing the Bears in the Super Bowl? Or maybe your heartbreaks begin a bit later. How about 1993 when Marino blew out his Achilles the year after losing to Buffalo in the AFC Championship game? And then, despite Scott Mitchell helping the team to a 9-2 record, Miami lost their final five and missed the playoffs. Does your pain begin with Marino's last game, Chad Pennington's injuries, Ricky Williams' retirement? Or is your case of heartbreak indigestion more related to the constant and consistent quarterback carousel since Marino left? Time and time again, we've been told, or at least hoped, that this is the guy. Now, I think we all knew that Jay Fiedler was a bridge, even if we didn't know where the bridge led. Pennington had questions. Chad Henne has his shot. Trent Green, Joey Harrington, Dante Culpepper were all pretty much done before they got started. And after disasters such as Cleo Lemon and Pat White, the Dolphins finally spent the first-round pick on Ryan Tannehill in 2012, where he spent 6 seasons as the starter for the most part. Now, Tannehill was the guy we all rooted for because, if nothing else, we knew that without a doubt he was leaving it all out on the field every Sunday. As Dolphin luck would have it, Tannehill had his best seasons in the 2 years following his departure from the Dolphins, where he actually found himself in the AFC Championship game at one point, a place that the Dolphins haven't seen since 1993. But those 6 seasons of hope took a toll on Dolphin fans, and most of us became extremely wary and possibly jaded about the possibility of ever finding a guy to truly replace Marino. After a year of Fitz magic, the Dolphins did what was necessary and drafted Tua in the first round, despite there being other quarterbacks that some Dolphins might have preferred. Much like Tannehill, we were told this is the guy. And for the most part, Dolphin fans either bought in or were cautiously hopeful and optimistic. We all know how it's gone since then, culminating in last Sunday's loss to Buffalo, the team that was mostly responsible for Marino never getting back to a Super Bowl. Now, while Buffalo has pretty much owned Miami for quite some time now, this loss and the resulting heartbreak was more about the way it happened relative to quarterback play than anything else. Yes, there are reasons all over the field for that loss. Plays and play calls that all could have and should have been better. However, despite all that, Miami had the ball in Tua's hands with a little over a minute to play and only needed 40 yards to get the game tied up and headed to overtime. This is where the one flaw in Tua's game crept in that makes even his staunchest supporters have questions: his decision-making during clutch time. Now, Tua has worked every offseason to fix and improve physical parts to his game. He has the arm to win. He can make all the throws necessary. I don't really think that's much in question any longer. But far too many times he leaves us all screaming, where the hell is he throwing the ball? Yes, you can say that Claypool should have cut the route sooner, but that's still Tua with plenty of time throwing to the only guy on the field who's double covered because he, quote, anticipated the throw. Translation, that's where Tua's throwing the ball, regardless of whether or not the receiver was open or double or triple or quad or even quintuply covered. Now, whether or not that's a function of demands from McDaniel or a design from McDaniel because of physical limitations of Tua, it really doesn't matter. You cannot win championships with the way that this system is designed with this specific quarterback. There must be an option for the quarterback to be able to extend a play or enough confidence for him to bypass the first read if covered and get the ball to an open man. It's clear as day that defenses are figuring out where Tua is going to throw the ball, either right before the snap or right after, mainly because he tends to stare down his first read and not even glance in anyone else's directions, as he did on Sunday's final play. The bottom line and final question is, can Tua fix this? Can he fix this mental part of the game? Can he learn to look off safeties on a more consistent basis? Hell, can he learn to just dump it off to an open running back in the flat when his first target is covered? Watch highlights of Marino, and he had a huge amount of yards dumping the ball off to Terry Kirby and Keith Byers especially. The way this system is designed, coupled with Tua's limitations, is a recipe for disaster. Not every game, obviously, but seemingly the most important ones. If Tua cannot prove against Kansas City that he can make the smart throws in big game situations, then we're going to go into this offseason with that being the thing he needs to fix. He has the physical tools, but barring a miracle in freezing Kansas City, we will once again enter the summer with a list of things for Tua to work on. And at that point, the clock starts ticking. We gave Tannehill 6 seasons, but I suspect Tua will only get 5 if he can't move the needle on his clutch gauge from rarely to consistently. And if he can't, the heartbreak needle for Dolphin fans goes all the way back to square one with the inevitable entrance of yet another quarterback that will be deemed the guy. Stay tuned, Dolphins. Stay tuned.